Welcome to the stage, 2018 ALEC National Chairman, Representative Jason Saine.
Good afternoon. Matt, thank you. In North Carolina, where I'm from, we have the Research Triangle region, one of the largest concentrations of pharmaceutical companies and support organizations in the world. I want to say thank you to Pfizer for your commitment to innovation, and thank you for your investment in North Carolina. And for those of you out there in the audience who said, I would never make it on stage in Nashville, here I am. Fortunately for you all, I will not be singing, but I did make it on stage in Nashville. So, as some of you know, Utah Senate President Wayne Niederhauser was originally slated to be the 2018 ALEC chairman. However, he was recently tapped to be the head of the Senate President's Forum. So we switched the years of our chairmanships. During a time of growth at ALEC, it is great to see ALEC leaders also lead other organizations. It will help ALEC continue to grow and create new partnerships. President Niederhauser, congratulations, and would you please stand and let us recognize you. And I'm honored to serve as ALEC's chairman in 2018 and look forward to President Niederhauser taking the helm of ALEC in 2019. 2018 is a very important year for ALEC and a very important year for me. Both are important because of the year 1973. In 1973, both ALEC and Jason Saine were born. I'm just riding on ALEC's coattails here, but celebrating the 45th anniversary of ALEC is incredible validation that an idea exchange works. Over more than 2 generations, many of the state policies that fostered economic growth and preserved individual liberty were first given voice at ALEC. In 1973, Illinois State Representative Henry Hyde, Iowa State Representative Terry Branstad, and Lou Barnett, a veteran of then Governor Ronald Reagan's 1968 presidential campaign, came together with an incredibly simple idea, that good ideas are better when shared. And legislators needed a forum to share ideas, and there you have it. ALEC was born, and 45 years later, we are stronger than ever, and we are needed now more than ever. Next September 26, we're going to come together in D.C. to give voice to the ALEC creed of limited government, free markets, and federalism. After a day of White House briefings and congressional meetings, we will celebrate 45 years of ALEC ideas at the Trump International Hotel. If you're a legislator, mark your calendar for this event. And if you are a private sector member, please consider sponsoring a table at the dinner or making a larger investment in ALEC's future. Of course, while we gather together to celebrate in Washington, D.C., the event is aimed at raising millions of dollars for the ALEC Endowment. We stand on the shoulders of giants, and it is up to us to ensure future members that follow our same path have a healthy and resilient organization to call home. So I hope you will join me in D.C. It's going to be a great party, and I love having a birthday party in D.C. with you all. We won't get lost in the swamp in Washington. Instead, we will blaze trails for limited government, free markets, and federalism. Switching gears a bit, I'd like to talk about one other anniversary. This year marks the 10th anniversary of Rich States, Poor States, the ALEC Laffer State Economic Competitiveness Index. You will find your copy on the table in front of you, and you can use the interactive tax policy calculator to see how you can increase your state's competitiveness at richstatespoorstates.org. Because Utah, Senator Niederhauser, has been #1 for a decade, it leaves the rest of us competing for the #2 position. I'm proud to say North Carolina is in the top 5, and we're actually #3 this year. With comprehensive tax reform on everyone's minds, and with a recognition that ALEC is a major part of the reason why ending the state and local tax deduction remains on the table today, I'm proud to invite our happy economist, ALEC Chief Economist Jonathan Williams, to the stage to offer Rich States, Poor State highlights and share some fiscal policy lessons from the states. Welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Y'all having fun so far? All right, well, this morning I got to talk about tax policy at 7 a.m., so it was a great start to the week for me, too. So as I always like to say, greetings from the land of make-believe, Washington, D.C., where we are based. And as President Reagan said, it's an island surrounded by reality in Washington. So whenever we have a chance to get off that island and into reality, into a state that gets it right like Tennessee, thanks to the good work of Senator Green and your colleagues here, killing the hall tax, becoming a truly no-income tax state this year, killing your death tax, doing so many things, capping unfunded liabilities, Tennessee is a great model for the rest of the nation to look at. So thank you for hosting us this week. Today we are celebrating 10 years of Rich States, Poor States. The copies made it from a truck in rural Pennsylvania over the weekend to Nashville yesterday, so the ink may still be drying, but you have it on your seats. It's been an incredible 10 years. My first day at ALEC in May of 2007, we came to Steve Moore and Art Laffer came to us with this idea of creating a publication to help you as state policymakers grade your states against the other 49 to see how you compare. And back then we had a situation where 40 states had budget surpluses. Times were pretty good. And of course we hit the recession of 2008 with all that red ink that piled up in state budgets. Art Laffer only half-jokingly said we need to rename this project Poor States, Poorer States after the 2008 downturn. But of course we've moved on. We've seen, unfortunately, the slowest economic recovery coming out of a recession since World War II. Now let's all put our collective hope together that our leaders in Congress can come together and give the American public a big Christmas present in terms of a tax cut by Christmas this year. How about that? It has been an incredible adventure. You all have changed the debate. Our ALEC members taking ALEC research and fighting the good fight in your state capitals. You've all changed the debate back home. Today, if you don't take my word for it, let's just look at what the competition is over Amazon's HQ2. They're saying 50,000 jobs to the state that gets it right. The states are coming out with their best proposals, saying we're right to work, we're low taxes, we're good regulatory environment. That is where the discussion is headed, and that's because of all of your good work fighting for ALEC principles back home. Just in these 10 years, we have visited all 50 states with this research on the ground, partnering with all of you. We've had more than 750 Rich States, Poor States events in your states, partnering with you as legislators, with our friends at NFIB, state chambers, AFP, SPN members across the board to bring this message to you. And as we celebrate this 10 years, and move into 2018, we want to expand on that work, and we want to work with all of you. So approach any member of the ALEC staff if you would like to host an economic policy briefing in your state in 2018 and beyond. One of the biggest lessons, there's a lot of lessons we've learned from our 10 years of research, which really we need to come do a full Rich States, Poor States briefing to get into all of those. But the biggest lesson is freedom works. Freedom works, ladies and gentlemen, and it's, as Art Laffer says, this isn't rocket surgery. It's economics 101. It's basic things. When you get your tax burden down, you see the growth effect. When people raise taxes, we're seeing the out-migration effect from so many of those states. And look no further than Americans voting with their feet from one state to another, from high-tax states to low-tax states. That's where the debate has gone. Look at, for the first time in California state history, in 2010, they did not gain a new congressional seat based on their loss of population to the other 49 states. New York is down more than 1 million Americans to the other 49, and Illinois and others are not far behind. Well, on the other side of the coin, where's our Texas delegation, right? So Texas is going to gain 3 to 4 more congressional districts because of the huge population inflow. Florida's going to gain probably 2 more. One of the key lessons is the no-income tax states much outperforming the states with the highest taxes, and that competition will continue. So when we look at now 10 years of rankings that we have, congratulations once again to our Utah delegation, President Niederhauser. 10 years in a row, how do you do it? It really is an impressive track record for your good work. So they deserve a round of applause. But a bit of a cautionary tale, even the best sports dynasties don't last much more than a decade. I mean, you had the Chicago Bulls only had 6 rings in the 90s. John Wooden's UCLA Bruins only had 10 championships right out of 12 years. So you've got North Carolina with Chairman Saine and Indiana with Chairman Buck nipping at your heels, and they're some of the biggest winners in rich states, poor states. So let me go through 10 years from 2007 to today, the biggest winners of the states that have gained the most in the rankings over these 10 years. The biggest winner, starting at number 47 and moving 27 spots in the right direction, is the Buckeye State of Ohio. So congratulations on all of your great movement. Followed by Wisconsin with huge wins, North Dakota with big wins, North Carolina and Indiana, as we mentioned. So we have seen so many states move in the right direction. And as a resident of Michigan, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to our friends in the Midwest, such as Indiana, for leading the way on right to work. If it wouldn't have been Indiana going first, we would not have had the right to work revolution that has swept the Midwest and brought all of those new jobs. So thank you very much for that. And let me tell you one more reason why you don't have to take my word for it, and that we are winning this debate of ideas, that when states compete, taxpayers win. That idea that we have the 50 laboratories of democracy that our founders set up, that in a great way to allow competition between the states. And let me give you the example of Connecticut. Any Connecticut folks here? There's a few. You've all migrated out of the state because of the high taxes probably over the last 25 years, but let me give you the example of Governor Daniel Malloy of Connecticut, not even a conservative Democrat, a liberal Democrat, head of the DGA. Their situation, of course, Connecticut lost a small family business by the name of General Electric just a couple of years ago, and you know where they went, right? Massachusetts. Now, there's a joke there. If you're losing businesses to Massachusetts for lower taxes, you've got real problems as a state. But Governor Malloy, what he said was, we've raised taxes multiple times and it's not working. What we need is economic growth. So folks, that's not even Alex saying this anymore. It's even Democrat liberal governors across the country saying enough is enough, taxes are not working. So let me transition as I close to the federal debate briefly and what ALEC has really led the way on from the very start. Chairman Kevin Brady of House Ways and Means Committee, ALEC alumni member, kicked off the first hearing of tax reform and invited ALEC to provide testimony. Then we had Speaker Gingrich at our annual meeting with Alfredo Ortiz talking about the strategy of tax reform. And as we moved into this critical fall juncture, ALEC Action has led the way with our letter that many of you signed to eliminate the subsidy to high tax states and the state and local tax deduction. Congress listened, and now we have a big limitation on the SALT deduction as a part of this tax reform package. Our next effort, which many of you have signed, has been passed around by ALEC Action this week, is the effort to fully repeal the hated and economically damaging federal death tax. That went away under the Bush tax cuts, came back, and now needs to be repealed according to the ALEC Action letter. There's a lot of work to still be done over the next couple of weeks. But I think we will be successful by the end of the year. I think Americans will see that tax cut, and I think we will see expanded economic growth as a result. But even if we are successful, there's a whole lot more work to be done at the federal level on unfunded liabilities, on spending, at the state level on pensions and taxes and budgets. We are here to work with you. There's a lot of work to be done. As the great Winston Churchill would say, this is not the end, nor the beginning of the end, but the end of the beginning. So we look forward to working with each and every one of you to partner to bring ALEC principles to your state and make state economies great again. Thank you.